I am ready to eat crow today. I did. I picked the Cardinals to win, and the Eagles held on and won. So, yes, I'm here to eat crow today. It is an undefeated Monday morning here on Birds 365. Appreciate you guys streaming in this early with us on the JAKIB Media YouTube channel. Jody Mack here with you, and unless he got significantly bigger and significantly darker, that's not my buddy John McMullen over there. That's my other pal coming in at the bullpen, bringing the big righty.
Yeah, you had to bring in the righty today, man. You know, I don't take the trip, so you know, Mac is on his way, I guess.
that would be Barrett Brooks, who's going to hang with me for the next couple hours, and we got a lot to cover. With the Eagles going to 5-0, it wasn't necessarily pretty, but 5-0 is 5-0 any way you slice it. And Barrett and I will do the breakdown thing for you for the next couple hours. Eddie Kratz, special ed, will join us in hour number 2, but we got much to break down, and we'll probably forego our first hour guest. First response of the day coming in on our stream from Andrew Hernandez. Eat crow, Jody. It wasn't pretty, but a win is a win. And Barrett, you were here on Friday filling in for John because he had to go over. And you know that I picked the Arizona Cardinals to win by 1 point, 27-26. I thought the Eagles had a chance to suffer their first loss. I am ready to eat crow today. I did. I picked the Cardinals to win, and the Eagles held on and won. So, yes, I'm here to eat crow today. I'm just wondering if any of our streamers who streamed in and said, Jody, what the hell are you thinking? The Eagles are going to win by 4 touchdowns. Rondell Moore. Who the hell is Rondell Moore that he's going to cause issues and problems to the Eagles? Rondell Moore made a couple of big plays. I actually handicapped that one correctly. So this is me officially eating crow on my prediction that the Eagles were going to lose a very close and tight game. Oh, it was a very close and tight game, and good for the Eagles, and a little lucky for the Eagles that Dickard the kicker was better than Matt Amendola, who absolutely had a makeable field goal that could have and should have sent this game into overtime. And, man, if that didn't look like one of my drives out there on the golf course, holy mackerel, took a right-hand turn as soon as the ball left its foot.
Yeah. Oh, man, and, you know, they did a magnificent job, you know, with the pre-recording of his field goal kicking throughout the beginning of when they got on the field. His warm-ups were exactly the way he kicked it. So, you know, I mean, that's great work. That's great work. What was it, by Fox? By seeing that, observing that, and getting that on, and it happened exactly the way it happened during warm-ups. Exactly how it happened on warm-ups.
Yeah, they did. And good production by Fox yesterday. Oh, they had those videos ready to go right there before
they did.
They rolled it out there for everyone to see, the warm-ups pushing it wide to the right, and exactly what Danny Amendola did there. So, yes, the Eagles go out to the desert, and I'll do this a couple times today. Tip of the cap. And we guessed that this was going to be the case here on Birds 365. Once again, a visiting stadium, this one 3,000 miles away, it's about a 50-50 split in the stadium.
Unbelievable.
How the hell do Eagle fans get 50% of the tickets in another stadium all the way across the other side of the country? Kyler Murray had issues all day trying to call plays because the Eagle crowd was as loud as it was. Damn, do Birds fans fly to any location that the Eagles are playing in the National Football League.
Jody Mack, I'm gonna tell you this, man. I've been blessed to play with 2 fan bases that travel well, and the Eagles travel. They're starting to be the mecca as far as football in the NFL. I mean, talking about as far as fans going and traveling. It used to be when I played with the Steelers. They traveled everywhere. You can go to every city and there's a Steeler bar. The Eagles are starting to surpass that now.
Yep.
I mean, it was literally 50-50 out there. It was like a home game. It sounded like a home. I was listening to warm-ups. It sounded just like they were at home, like they were in, like I thought it was the old vet. You know what I mean? That's how it sounded in their state. They took over. So big ups to the fans going out there and really, you know, imposing their will on the car. I mean, but you know, you gotta understand that's a retirement place, anyways. You know, you go to Arizona, you go there to retire, anyways, man. So
you go there to retire. So there were probably a couple Eagle fans that only had to get in their car, not get on a plane to be able to drive to the game yesterday.
You go there and then you know you go play golf. You know, you put your feet up. You know that's where Arizona is. They love the dry temperature. You know that's where Seth lives. You know what I mean? That's where you go to let your hair down. Well, hey, the Eagles went out there and made it happen, bro. They made it happen.
They do come back 5-0, and Barrett and I are going to give you the pluses, the minuses, and everything that came down yesterday.
Yeah, who was Eno Brown? I mean, Eno Benjamin.
Eno made a couple of nice runs. We'll break it all down for you, but one last thing before we start to give you the analysis. I do want to. I knew I was going to take grief on the stream today, and I want to at least explain where I came from. Davey Boy, one of our regular streamers, says, "Jody, you're my brother, and I love you, but don't ever pick sides against the family." Here's the deal, guys. They pay me the $11.27 an hour here on Birds 365 to give you my honest opinion. I'm not a cheerleader. This is my podcast shirt on today. It's not an Eagles t-shirt. I'm not on the Eagles payroll either. I'm here to give you my honest opinion. I had picked the Eagles to win the first 4 games and cover the first 4 games because I thought they were going to do that. Because I thought they were better than the team they were playing, that I didn't think it was close, and I thought the Eagles would win and win handily, even the opener against Detroit, which I was wrong about. They didn't cover that one, went altogether too late into the game before the Eagles put it away. But it's not my job. You guys are fans, and we love you here, and thanks for continuing to stream in with us and give us the comments on the stream as well. But it's not your job to be objective. It's your job to be a fan. It's your job to get out the pom-poms and wave them and root for the Eagles and hope the Eagles go 20-0 this year. Never lose a game, straight through to the Super Bowl, win that, have the parade. I get that's everybody every year. So they're not paying me or Barrett or Johnny Mack or anybody else here on Birds 365 to just come in and say, the Eagles are going to win because they're the Eagles and we want them to. That's not our job. We have to give you our honest opinions. My honest opinion was just wrong this week, and I'm perfectly fine with that. I'm glad that the Eagles won. I'm glad that I was wrong. I will eat the requisite crow because I did think the Cardinals could sneak out a victory. And oh, by the way, they almost did. That's fine. Just understand what, if I need to explain to you what my job is, I will do so. I'm not here to wave the pom-poms. But the Eagles did get the win with little help from their fan base who went all the way out there and basically took over their stadium. And Kyler Murray, Barrett, the key play of the game, of course, is the Kyler Murray sprint out, comes down, looks like he's going to get the first down, no timeouts left.
He early.
Goes into the slide, and he does so before the sticks, rightfully placed by the Eagles. And I've read a couple of places that in the stadium, they flashed first down on the scoreboard, and maybe Kyler Murray saw that and thought he had the first down. That's why he spiked the ball. To me, that's pretty much all irrelevant. Your job when you're the quarterback is to know exactly where that first down marker is, exactly if you made it or not. You're supposed to pick up your cue from the referees and the chain movers, not the scoreboard. So shame on Kyler Murray, even more so than the fact that he might not have known that it wasn't a first down, on the fact that he didn't get the first down. Do you think Jalen Hurts would have gone into a slide and come up short there? No, I don't think so, Barrett.
And that's the difference. That's the difference between a Kyler Murray and a Jalen Hurts. I said it last night on the postgame show that Hurts would have made the first down. Hurts would have went all out. And, you know, people say a lot about him, you know, taking too many hits. Well, this is one of those situations where he would have needed to take a hit. And I mean, we scored twice with him taking hits. QB sneaks, 2 touchdowns from that. But at the end of the day, Jalen Hurts makes better decisions than Kyler Murray. That's why he's going to be the franchise quarterback for the Eagles. Murray just does, his demeanor, how he carries himself, the way he bitches. He's just not a leader of men, not a good leader of men. You know, and I don't think that his squad is totally invested in him being the quarterback of that team. Everybody's invested in Jalen Hurts being the quarterback of this team. You know, even the backup quarterback sees how good Jalen Hurts is.
And I thought it was somewhat fitting, and see if you go with me on this one. You were here in town at the time when Eagles drafted Donovan McNabb, and he took over, and he was going to be the Eagles quarterback for the next decade, and he did get him to a Super Bowl and a whole bunch of NFC championships games. So we've got Donovan in the proper perspective and the respect that he earned. But in about his third year in the National Football League, he made a conscious decision, and he even stated it on the record, I'm a quarterback. I'm not a running quarterback. That he made the decision to take running out of his game. Because Donovan McNabb could turn it upfield and make a big play like Jalen Hurts. He was that good a runner when he first came into the National Football League. And then all of a sudden, it was much less a part of Donovan's arsenal. And I think Donovan was trying to make a point that he's as good as any other quarterback. He's not just an athletic quarterback. He's not just a running quarterback. I can play quarterback the same way everybody else does here in the National Football League and be as good. I think Kyler Murray looks at it the same way. That he doesn't like the fact that he is judged as a guy who can make these great plays and scramble, make it up as he goes along. And, oh, by the way, he made a bad play yesterday. You got to get that first down. That's on you, Kyler. I don't care how great you are from the pocket. And the thing that would annoy me if I were a Cardinal fan, he got paid. If he thought he needed to be that type of quarterback to get that $230 million contract, okay, fine. You got the money. You got the deal. Now do everything it takes to help your team win football games. He didn't do that yesterday. He went down too early, Barrett.
And I'm going to tell you this. It's a new age for quarterbacks. I understood why Donovan did it back when he did it, because it was still a drop back quarterback type of league. That's when running backs really ran the ball. You know, offenses were different back then. These new age quarterbacks, you're almost a detriment to your team if you're not mobile enough or functionally mobile enough in the pocket to really make some things happen. Now, one thing I love about Shane Steichen and Nick Sirianni is they're not taking his tangibles away from him. They're not coaching the intangibles out of him. That's one of the things that makes Jalen Hurts what he is. He's dynamic as an athlete and dynamic as a quarterback. You can see he can make every throw and hit every route in the route tree. His arm is strong enough. He can read defenses. You know, he's the total package right now, what we've seen from the last 5 games. But they're not put him in a position where they're taking his running and his athleticism away from him. He needs that. Just like you look at Josh Allen, he needs to use that in order for him to have that effect on the defense. You have to account for him as the 11th offensive guy on the field. Now, when you're a drop back quarterback, once you hand the ball off, you pass it. I mean, you're not really counted as a guy in the number count. You know what I mean? It's usually 11 against 10 when you have just a straight drop back quarterback. But Jalen Hurts is so dynamic and Josh Allen's so dynamic that they have to be accounted for in the number count when you run the ball, because they can boot, they can keep it, they can zone read it, RPOs. You have to account for them. So that's one of the things that I like about these new age quarterbacks. Now, can he continue to take hits like that? He's a football player. That's just what he is. I mean, hell, he squats 600 pounds. You know what I'm saying? It's not like he's a lightweight quarterback. It's not like he's like Josh Rosen or somebody. You know what I'm saying? He's a thick dude, a strong dude. In fact, he could be a running back. He just happens to be a quarterback with a pretty good arm and understands how to lead a team, understands how not to make mistakes. He doesn't make many mistakes, and that's what's got them to 5-0. His ability to not turn the ball over and not make mistakes.
And, oh, by the way, yesterday, a fine example of Jalen Hurts and his ability to run. On the goal line, massive humanity, being tackled from the front, pushed from the back by his teammates, doesn't faze him.
No.
He's a football player. You described it well. He's a football player. Kyler Murray wanted to be a finesse quarterback on that play that ended up costing the Cardinals a legit chance to be able to actually win the football game. They could have won it outright with a touchdown there. They didn't even get into overtime because Matt Amendola is not Dicker the kicker, and that worked out to the Eagles' advantage big time yesterday. And here's the other thing that I was noting. I was on the air, I was on CBS Sports Radio as the game was ending yesterday. And I said this to my co-host, Zach Gelb. After the Cardinals tied it with the touchdown drive to make it 17-17, I said to my partner, here's where the Eagles have to return to basics. They haven't run the football as much today as they usually do. They haven't run it as effectively as they usually do. Both Kelsey and Dickerson had gone out at different stages of the game. Luckily for the Eagles, Kelsey might be the toughest. If Jalen Hurts is a football player, Jason Kelsey is a football player's football player. He is such a friggin' tough guy that he's back into that game before you could almost blink. But they didn't run it as well yesterday up until the 7 and change to go in the fourth quarter. I said, they got to get back to bed. They got to run the football. 8 consecutive running plays. 8. Count them. 8. Miles and Hurts and bring in Gainwell off the bench. And they just slowly and methodically move the ball down the field. Yeah, you needed that one really good play by Jalen to Goddard to get the first down to keep the clock rolling. But that was the Eagles returning to basics and what they still do. They did it last year to make the playoffs when they started 2-5. And when they needed it yesterday, they were able to reach into their back pocket and pull out their trump card, which is we still have the best offensive line in football. And if we have to, we'll come out and run the ball down your throats.
Know when to hold them, know when to fold them, know when to run. They know when to run the rock, bro. That's it in a nutshell. And to have that ace in your back pocket, it really gives them autonomy to, to really put it on people when they need to do it. The mere fact that this team is so good at running the rock, which is the worst thing you can do to a defense. When you can run the ball that effectively and the defense knows you're about to do it and they can't do anything about it, is such a downer on that defense. What can they do? They can't stop it. It just physically just takes it out of them because they start looking at each other, start questioning each other. And they got away from running the rock. They got away from it. I mean, they don't have to throw if they don't want to throw, but they choose to do it. So this is one of the first times I've seen Coach Steichen get out coached for probably 2.5 quarters as far as offensively. I understand you got all those shiny new toys out there. You got Devontae Smith out there. You got AJ Brown out there. You got Dallas Goedert. I think they overdid the speed screens or the outside screens, the tunnel screens to tight end and to Quez and all those guys. I mean, they're going to get Smitty killed. They give him another one of those because they're not blocking out there on the edge. You got to know the defense sees it. They know they're going to do that. So you got to go to some other play. So I think they ran that too much. They're going to have something new to go against Dallas. But this is the first time I saw the defensive coordinator just really, Vance Joseph just outcoached Shane Steichen for 2.5 quarters. And I know Vance Joseph. Me and Vance Joseph are close. That's my boy. That's my frat brother. We played against each other in college. I used to go kick it with him up in Colorado. He was actually a quarterback. But, it was during the times where, they didn't have option quarterbacks. And he went to the Jets as a DB, and that's how he started his defensive career, being a DB. And, because he was a quarterback, he understands what defenses try to do to him. And that's what makes him a great play caller. But we knew he was going to blitz. And that's exactly what they got. But you can run on blitzes. The great thing about running on blitzing teams is once you get past that initial blitz, there's nobody else back there. So Shane's got to look within themselves and say, hey, we can't get away from that again. We got to make sure running is consistently a package in our offense that, we have to make sure we do, especially going into this week when you have defensive players with the prowess that you have, Micah Parsons, DeMarcus Lawrence. You know what I'm saying?
Well, we'll get that.
You got Diggs out there, So, but I mean, this is the first time that I saw this year Shane Steichen didn't stick to his guns and didn't go to what really worked. I thought he tried to force the issue with the speed screens and tunnel screens, and that really put him behind the buck because we lost a lot of yardage for those type of plays.
They did, and I was surprised they ran as many as they did. I get it. You want to have balance.
Yep.
Any offense in the National Football League wants to be able to run it, throw it deep, throw it intermediary. You hope that you have every bow in your quiver that you can pull out at any time and be successful with it. They did overkill the quick wide receiver hitters yesterday.
Too much.
They must have thought they saw something in the Arizona defense. It just wasn't there.
That was their weakness. The weakness was their corners. Well, it was supposed to be their corners' ability to make plays. Those guys started making plays. They stood up and were accounted for in tackling. Those were supposed to be guys that didn't tackle well. You could throw on them, and I guess they wanted to take advantage of that because they were ranked almost last as far as against the pass. But hey, those guys showed up, man. They came to play. They were fired up, man. And once they got a little confidence, you could see starting to grow and grow more and more in the game, and they started making plays. And when you got that, you got to stop the bleeding. And the way you stop the bleeding is with this offense is to stick with that offensive line and run the rock.
Yeah, it was close. Yeah, they got a little helping hand from a quarterback who misjudged the first down line. Yeah, your last-minute signee kicker was better than their last-minute signee kicker. Can put all those things into the mix, but here's the bottom line. Eagles are 5-0, and the Dallas Cowboys are coming to town. He's Barrett Brooks. I'm Jody McDonald. Barrett's in for Johnny Mac, flying back from Arizona this morning. We'll come back. We'll break down this game even further. Ed Kratz from Sports Illustrated is going to join us in hour number 2. Stay right here on the stream of Birds 365.